Some voices defined entire generations. They filled arenas, topped charts, and moved audiences to tears with nothing but a microphone and a gift that seemed like it would never fade. But time is not a respectful audience.
I've been made blue. I've been lied to.
For 12 legendary female singers, the stage that once felt like home has become something far more complicated, whether through illness, physical limitation, or the quiet, inevitable weight of years.
Do you believe in life after love?
If the music of these women has ever meant something to you, consider subscribing to the Rewind Rogue so you never miss a video like this. Today we count down 12 aging female singers who have faced the hard reality that live performance may no longer be possible, or may never be quite the same again. Number 12. Tina Turner. By the time the 1990s ended, Tina Turner had already pulled off one of the greatest comeback stories in music history. She was touring arenas in her 50s with more energy than performers half her age. But the years that followed brought one devastating blow after another. A stroke in 2013 left lasting damage. Kidney failure required a transplant, which her then new husband donated. Intestinal cancer followed. She stepped away from the stage not as a choice born of comfort, but as a medical necessity. Her final public appearances were fragile, carefully managed moments far removed from the thunderclap performer who once owned every room she entered. When she passed away in May of 2023, at the age of 83, the world lost a force that the body had simply been unable to sustain. Number 11. Aretha Franklin. The Queen of Soul spent her final years in a slow, painful retreat from the concert halls that had celebrated her for 6 decades. Diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, Aretha Franklin continued making public appearances well into her illness, but those who attended her later performances noted the toll the disease had taken on her presence and stamina. Her final public performance, a tribute concert in 2017, required her to be seated through much of the set. She passed away in August of 2018 at 76. For a voice that had once been called the greatest in American popular music, the cruelty was not in its fading. It was in how suddenly and how completely it was taken. Number 10. Linda Ronstadt. She was the most commercially successful female rock artist of the 1970s, a woman whose voice could pivot from heartbreak ballad to Mexican folk song to big band standard without losing an ounce of its clarity. Then, around 2011, something began to change. Her voice faltered. She could no longer hit notes she had once reached effortlessly. In 2013, she revealed publicly that she had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. The tremors had already stolen her ability to sing. She has said in interviews since then that she cannot sing at all anymore, not even in private. For Linda Ronstadt, there was no farewell tour, no final bow. The voice simply stopped.
I've been made blue. I've been lied to.
Number 9. Cher.
Do you believe in life after love?
For decades, Cher turned farewell into a career strategy. Her farewell tour, which launched in 2002, ran for 3 years and grossed an estimated $250 million worldwide. She returned to the road again anyway, multiple times, with each tour promising finality and delivering spectacle instead. But by the time her Here We Go Again tour reached its later legs in the early 2020s, the physical toll of performing had become a genuine conversation. She was in her mid-70s, managing a show that required elaborate production, costume changes, and sustained vocal output. Age-related fatigue, back issues, and extended scheduling gaps have all become part of the story. The icon remains. The unlimited runway does not.
I reach the stars, I give them all to you.
Before we continue, drop a comment and let us know where you are watching from. We have viewers tuning in from across the country and around the world, and we genuinely love hearing from you. Now, back to the countdown. Number 8, Patti LaBelle. Few voices in soul, rhythm, and blues have carried the raw power of Patti LaBelle's. Born in 1944, she was still delivering electrifying live performances well into her 60s, a fact that astonished critics and audiences alike. But a diagnosis of type 2 diabetes altered her relationship with her own stamina, and as she moved through her 70s, the demands of full-length touring became harder to sustain. She has been candid about health challenges in interviews, and her performance schedule has narrowed considerably compared to the relentless pace she once maintained. She still appears on stage occasionally, but the long-haul touring life that once defined her has quietly wound down. Number 7, Diana Ross. She has been performing since the early 1960s, first with the Supremes, then as one of the most successful solo acts of the 20th century. But Diana Ross's later live appearances have not always matched the legend. A headlining slot at Glastonbury in 2019, when she was 75, drew mixed reactions, with some critics noting that her voice and energy fell short of the event's enormous expectations.
And baby, every time you touch me, I become a hero.
She has continued to perform selectively, but the gap between the Diana Ross of legend and the performer audiences sometimes encounter today has become difficult to ignore. At her age, simply showing up and taking the stage is a statement. Whether the performance delivers on the legend is a different question. Number 6, Stevie Nicks.
I've been afraid of changing 'cause
She stepped away from performing for an extended period following the COVID-19 pandemic, citing concerns about her health and vulnerability, and was candid that a return to large-scale touring was not guaranteed. Born in 1948, Stevie Nicks has spoken openly about the physical demands of being on the road and the reality that her body no longer absorbs those demands the way it once did.
take me like the wind, now take me with the sky.
Her voice, always a distinctive instrument rather than a conventionally powerful one, has shown the natural effects of time. She has performed in select appearances since her pandemic break, but the full touring life she lived through the 70s, 80s, and beyond is, by her own admission, something that requires serious reconsideration now. Now that we are getting closer to the top of our list, we want to hear from you. Tell us in the comments which of these artists meant the most to you growing up. The stories in the top 5 are ones that hit a little differently. Number 5, Carly Simon.
But you say it's time we moved in together.
Stage fright defined much of Carly Simon's performing life long before age became a factor. She stopped touring entirely in the early 1980s because the anxiety had become unbearable, a struggle she wrote and spoke about with remarkable honesty over the years. A breast cancer diagnosis in the mid-90s added another layer of physical challenge. She returned to occasional live appearances in later years, but her stage presence has remained limited and carefully selective.
It's too late, baby, now it's too late, though we really do.
Now in her late 70s, Simon represents a particular kind of loss, a voice and a songwriter of genuine greatness whose relationship with live performance was complicated by forces that had nothing to do with talent and everything to do with the cost of being human. Number 4, Joan Baez.
'Cause I remember your eyes were bluer than robin's eggs.
For more than half a century, Joan Baez was one of the most compelling live performers in American folk music. Her soprano voice was a precision instrument capable of enormous emotional range. But in her mid-70s, she announced that her voice had changed in ways she could no longer control on stage, and she made the decision to retire from touring.
Someone's open each and every door, but it ain't me, babe.
Her final tour, which she completed in 2019, was framed as a genuine farewell rather than a marketing strategy. She was honest about what had happened to her voice and what that meant for her relationship with the concert stage. There was something quietly dignified about a performer choosing to leave on her own terms, even when those terms were painful. Number 3. Grace Slick.
We built this city on rock and roll.
She was the voice of a revolution. As the frontwoman of Jefferson Airplane, Grace Slick delivered one of the most iconic vocal performances of the 1960s, a sound that was simultaneously operatic and dangerous. She retired from performing in 1989, citing a growing discomfort with what rock and roll had become and an honest acknowledgement that she had no desire to be a nostalgia act. She has remained retired ever since. Now, well into her 80s, she has redirected her creative energy into visual art and has been clear that the stage holds no pull for her anymore. The decision was hers, but the voice the world lost was irreplaceable. Number 2. Judy Collins.
There's a young man that I know. His age is 21.
Still performing occasionally in her mid-80s, Judy Collins represents something genuinely remarkable, but also something that has invited scrutiny. Her folk soprano, once one of the most luminous sounds in American music, carries the unmistakable texture of decades. Audiences who attend her recent appearances often report a performance shaped more by presence and history than by vocal power. She has been honest about her age and what it means for her stamina. The fact that she continues it all is, depending on who you ask, either an act of admirable dedication or a reminder that some stages are better left to memory. Either way, she keeps showing up. That alone says something. Number 1. Loretta Lynn.
Rock the babies at night and read the Bible by the coal oil light.
In the years following a stroke in 2017, Loretta Lynn made a determination to return to the stage, and she did, because that was the kind of woman she was. Born in Butcher Hollow, Kentucky, she had spent her life refusing to be stopped. But the performances she delivered after that stroke were quieter things, seated, gentler, requiring accommodations the younger Loretta would never have accepted. She passed away in October of 2022 at the age of 90. What she left behind was not the image of a performer fading. It was the portrait of someone who had given everything the stage ever asked of her, and then some, across more than 6 decades of music that will outlast every conversation about what she could or could not still do.